But the interesting thing I realized along the way is that payments is another form of communication. It's another exchange of value. And the really interesting thing about payments in the financial world is no one's really designed it. If you think about it, every single person in this world has some connection to money, and they all hate it. At some point or another, you're going to hate some aspect of money. So there's never been anyone who's really designed a payments platform or an exchange of value or a currency that's really beautiful and that's really thoughtful and that engages a user experience around communication instead of purely the service of and the mechanics of transferring that value. So when we were building Square, we realized that, wow, the receipt is something that's never really been designed or looked at. I go up to a coffee store and I hand them my credit card. I say, I want a cappuccino. I hand them my credit card. And they type in cappuccino on their little terminal, which is basically a calculator on top of a cash box. And then they get $3.24 from that. They get a receipt. Then they take that amount and they go over and they type that amount into the credit card terminal. Then they swipe the card. And then they get that receipt. And then they hand me that receipt. And I sign for that receipt. And then I give it back to them. And then they take that receipt, take the other receipt, staple it together with a little coffee card, and then give me all that, and I throw that paper away. It's useless. And it would be so easy if you built a cohesive system to actually, and that carries the entire transaction, to create a receipt that is useful. With one swipe, I can sign on an electronic screen, get rid of paper completely, but with that one swipe, I learn of the merchant's Twitter handle, I learn of their Facebook page, I learn of their Yelp account, I learn of their menu, their hours, whatever they want to put on their receipt, they can put there. But it can be used as a publishing medium and something that you can interact with instead of something that you just, it's a burden to receive. And a lot of retailers out there are embarrassed by the receipts they give out and the whole payment processing aspect of their business. They go above and beyond to craft a beautiful experience in their store, and they have to compromise to accept credit cards. They have to compromise to accept any form of payment. Why? And then what do they get out of it? If you go to any coffee store in America and you ask them, how many cappuccinos did you sell today, apart from Starbucks and Pete's? I don't know, we made $300, you know. How many cappuccinos did you sell, and then what percentage of those people bought biscottis? What happens when it's a rainy day? What happens on Tuesday at 5 p.m.? All this data we're used to for Google Analytics. You know, we've used this effectively to build our electronic systems and our blogs and all of these companies that we're building. But real-world offline merchants have none of this data. They can buy into it if they buy into a $15,000 point-of-sale system, but then they also need to buy into an entire service army of people to figure out how to use it. So what we want to do is we want to build a full point-of-sale system that is just gorgeous and that allows and enables someone to immediately not just make the transaction fast and feel great, but to get very, very rich data for everything that they're selling. Google Analytics type of data for everything that they're selling. And this becomes really, really important, not just when you're starting a business, but when you're trying to grow that business.